What's up guys? In this video, you're going to be learning how to free yourself from emotional baggage. This is a loaded topic and I'm super excited to dive deep into this one and teach you guys the frameworks needed to drop that emotional baggage that we carry around with us. Now make sure you stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to be sharing with you 2 levels you need to be working at in order to leave your emotional baggage in the past. Now, emotional baggage, all right, what are we referring to with this? We're talking about the emotions, the negative emotions that we bring into our day-to-day life. Imagine if life was just blissful, we were just happy, everything was just go with the flow, nothing seemed to bother us. It would be amazing, right? But we think we can't because we just drag all these negative emotions into our day-to-day life. We have worry, we have anxiety, we have fear. Where's all this coming from and why can't I just enjoy the experience of being alive? All right, that's kind of the predicament we're in. And the reason we can't is because we're bringing a lot of stuff into our day-to-day life. We're not interacting with the present moment as it is. We're bringing our old stuff into the current day. All right, so that's the pretense of this video, and we're going to look at how we can stop doing that and actually live a more happy, peaceful, enjoyable life. All right, so emotional baggage, where does it come from? To start off, it comes from the fact that life doesn't agree with your preferences. All right, life doesn't agree with your preferences. You want life to go a certain way and it didn't. And in a context, you wanted to have a winning session and you had a losing one. Your preference was to win and you lost. You didn't get your way. You didn't get what you wanted. So almost every negative emotion comes from a resistance to life being the way it is. And you wanted life to go a different way. It didn't go that way. And as a result, the emotional reaction has come forward. All right, so think about it. Think of any emotional reaction that you've had, and I can guarantee you there's an element of resistance. There's an element of life didn't go the way you wanted it to, all right? If life did go the way you wanted to, the reaction would probably be a positive emotion, all right? A good emotion. But if it's a bad emotional response, you didn't get your way. You didn't get what you wanted, all right? Think about it when we're children, how we get conditioned. When we get what we want, we're happy. When we don't get what we want, we're unhappy. And then we become, as we're adults, we carry this in to our lives, all right? So life doesn't agree with your preferences. This is the pretense of it all, okay? Life doesn't agree with your preferences. You have a big list of things you want, big list of things you don't want. Now, what's amazing about playing poker full-time for a profession is that there is no hiding place. There's no hiding places from your emotional baggage. You think that you're doing well, everything's all good, nothing's affecting me, then boom, big downswing, boom, someone's taking money from you, boom, things aren't going your way. We have to realize that in poker is a really good learning environment because very often things don't go our way. Very often our preferences aren't met. Life doesn't agree with the way we want it to be. We have all these, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to have this money, and life slaps us in the face. All right, so poker is a great learning ground for realizing that, wait a minute, if I create these preferences of how I want life to be, and life doesn't give me that, I'm going to have this emotional response. What can I do about this? Now, as you go through this video, you're going to learn 2 different levels that you can be working at in order to get your preferences in check and also to release the emotional baggage that you've been carrying around. So as you're watching this video, think of a circumstance or events that cause a negative emotional reaction for you. All right? It could be at the poker tables. It could be people in your personal life. It could be in your relationships. It could be anything that sparks you to have a negative emotional response. This is where your work is to be done. All right? So life's always testing us, and it's almost like opening the doorways and going, okay, right, this thing that's bothering you, you haven't evolved past this one. So it's like a level. It's like leveling up. And life's testing you, going, have you passed the level? As soon as you can stay centered and relaxed and not respond negatively, you've shown that you've passed that level and you get to go to the next one. All right, you just keep evolving up and up and up. And you want to get to the point where almost nothing bothers you. All right, you've let go of everything. All right, and yeah, poker is a great learning curve for this because it's going to constantly go, boom, have you progressed yet? Have you progressed? And there's always like these tests going on. It's going to be a big downswing. It's going to be an opponent doing something you didn't want, and you've got to keep showing that you've evolved, all right? And if not, if you keep your emotional baggage, you keep carrying this big bag around with you, guess what? Your emotions are going to be dragged all over, all right? And it's not going to be a good experience. All right, so we've got emotional baggage is coming from us basically not agreeing with life, all right? Not having preferences and not agreeing with how life is unfolded. So if we want to have full freedom, we want to drop our emotional baggage, what do we need to do? What is one of the things we can do? We can start to drop our preferences. All right, so the Buddha's second noble truth is all of suffering is caused by desire. All right, desire is just another word for preferences. You want these things, you don't want these things. All right, these lists. As long as you've got these lists, you're going to create suffering. All right, Buddha said all of life is suffering. It's caused by desire, because he thinks that we can't drop these things. All right, the personal mind can't drop these things, but we can. All right, and we can start working through our problems by starting to see the errors of our ways. All right, so if we know it's come from our preferences, we know we're resisting life, we're clashing with life as it is, we need to start fighting back. All right, and luckily for you guys, no matter where you're at on your evolution mindset wise, there's two things you can always do. All right, there's two things you can always do to start to drop emotional baggage, to start to free yourself day by day, piece by piece. The way I look at it, when you're trying to get rid of mindset issues and emotional stuff, you've got to almost like chip away at it, like release this a little bit, get less and less things that bother you. At the moment, there might be hundreds, thousands of things that bother you. You want to narrow that list. You want to narrow that list until you've just got those small amount of things that bother you, just one or two things, and then you work on those ones over and over, free those ones, and then you're really free. All right, but a lot of you guys will be struggling with a lot of things. So let's have a look at what we can do to start to remove emotional baggage. So there's two levels, I use the word levels consciously, to work at. All right, so as you probably gathered straight away, we could just have no preferences. So it doesn't agree with our preferences. What was if we said no preferences? Then it would be fine, wouldn't it? But it's hard to do that. It's hard to not want things. So for you guys as poker players, you want to be successful. You want to make money. You want to have a good lifestyle. You want to feel like you're doing good. All right, you want to feel like you're doing good. One of the hardest challenges of poker is often when we lose, we put a big label on ourselves. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not the version of myself I want to be. Or some of us live our lives based on other people's opinions. Other people won't respect me. Other people don't look up to me. Other people don't think I'm good at what I do. All right, so we've got this whole baggage around our self-worth tied up in poker. All right, as a result, of course it hurts. Of course, if you put this label, like, I need to have success in poker to be valuable, to be worthy, to be good, of course it's gonna hurt when you don't. All right, so not gonna cover this in this video because it's a whole separate topic, but those labels, we need to avoid those labels. All right, we need to avoid putting our self-worth into our occupation. Because if you do that, guess what? When it goes badly, you suffer, all right? But on a practical level here, two levels to work at. The first one is where most of you guys do most of your work, all right? Especially to begin with. As you get more involved, you go to level 2, all right, of this process. And the first one is to play a game, all right? And it's every time I have a negative thought, I'm gonna start switching it to a positive, all right? It's like a TV channel, right? Imagine if your TV just randomly just played a random TV station, all right? And you've got a remote in your hand, and you could change the station if you wanted to, but the TV just randomly went, watch the news. And you're like, oh, I was watching the sport. You'd just turn it back, wouldn't you? You'd switch it back. All right, we can do this with our mind. Consciously, we can switch negative to positive, but you've got to pay attention. You've got to be conscious. Very often, we're just lost in thought. You're in a negative spiral of thought for the whole day, and you didn't stop yourself. But at any point, you could have injected a new thought. The mind can only focus on one thing. It's either negative 101 or positive 101. All right, which station are you tuned into? And if you're always tuned to the negative, guess what? You're gonna have all that negative emotional feelings with it. So the first game you play is that I'm gonna pay conscious attention throughout my day. When I feel myself going into a negative thought, I see a negative thought, I'm gonna switch it to something more positive. All right, sometimes we need to change our physical state. If I can't get myself out of a negative thought pattern, I use exercise. I'll just go for like a 10-minute run, all right, and that clears my head. But very often I'll just go, okay, Adam, that thought pattern, that worry, that anxiety, worry about all this stuff isn't good right now. Let's switch it to something else. What positive things have I got going in my life? All right, so first one, switching negative thoughts into positive, all right? All right, and for a lot of you guys, this is where you need to do a lot of work. It's first because the second level is harder, okay? So get used to this. If you can't do this one, you need to do some work, all right? So the work at this level is to become conscious, become aware, all right? There's a great book by Anthony DeMello called Awareness. And he just keeps saying awareness, awareness, awareness. And to go from negative to positive, you've got to become aware. All right, you've got to become aware of your patterns, of your negative thought patterns, and you've got to get used to switching it, all right? So pay attention. Like what I do for myself is I meditate in the morning, get myself centered, clear, and then I'm on guard, all right? So as I'm going through my day, I start my day in a positive frame of mind. I'm watching for my station to change to negative. Oh, I worry about this thing. I catch myself and go, oh, Adam, that's a negative thought. You're worried about that. Switch it to this one, all right? You've got to pay attention because as soon as you leave it on autopilot, guess what? The brain has a massive massive negativity bias. All right, so if you do not play this game, you do not get good at this game, guess what? You end up on negative 101 all day long. All right, it's a much better feature for the brain in terms of survival. You won't naturally just stumble into a positive frame of mind. You might, but you're gonna get very lucky. And before context, it's the ultimate run good, just to have a positive mind without doing the work. It's just like, I don't know if I've come across anyone who has got that positive frame of mind without doing the work. All right, so get used to switching that negative to positive. Really, really powerful. And play this game every day, all day, every day. I play this game relentlessly from waking till night. Do I win every round? No, I lose some rounds, but I win most of them. And I know when I lost one, and when I lose one for a period of time, I can look back and go, what was the reason I lost that one? I let that negative thought spiral into the worry, or my one's worry. I worry about things I don't need to worry about, future things, about where I'm going in life and what's going to happen, and things I don't need to. And if I don't catch myself, that thought just spirals. So I need to go, oh, Adam, you're worrying about something that's in the future that hasn't happened yet. Let's get back to the present moment. There's so much to be positive about. Let's get back to it. All right, so we're going to play this game. All right, level 1. If you get good at this game, you can start to go to level 2. Or if you're involved in certain areas of your life, you can play level 2. All right, now level 2 is letting go of preferences. All right, so preferences again, coming up twice. Letting go of preferences and surrender. We let go of all resistance to life. Everything we want in life to be a certain way, we accept that life's going to do its thing, that we're not going to get our own way. We stop wanting to get our own way. When life throws us a curveball, we say, good, I'm glad that happened. I don't know why it happened this way, but this must have been the way it was meant to unfold. Why? Because it happened this way. We stop trying to have our list of, if I win, if I do this, if I have success, then I'm happy. We get ourselves happy to begin with, and then whatever life throws at us, we accept. We let go of our preferences. We let go of trying to demand life to be this way. It's really funny when we zoom out and we look at it. We literally go, life, go the way that I've said, go the way that I've decided. And if you do, I'll be happy. But if you don't, I'm gonna get frustrated, I'm gonna get angry, I'm gonna have negative feelings. But if life goes the way, if I can force life to go the way I want to, I'll be happy. And as a result, we create this massive resistance. All right, this massive resistance, we're trying to make life go the way we want. Guess what? Life can never go the way you want. All right? And if it did go the way you want over and over, imagine life is unfolded exactly the way you want it over and over. You'd be bored out your brains within a few weeks, maybe a few months of playing that game. You'd be like, everything I do just works and everything I'm doing is just perfect. Like, God, this is a boring life. All right? We've got to let life unfold. We've got to let go of our preferences and surrender. Now, surrender sounds passive. It sounds like I'm a soldier surrendering to the enemy. It's not. All right? Surrender is just surrendering the lower self, all right? Surrendering your need to have things a certain way. It's just letting go of your preferences. It's letting go of the need to have life a certain way, all right? So to look at the levels to work at, if you can't work at this level, this is a hard level. Like I'm optimistic, but I'm also a realist, all right? And I realize that letting go is hard. This is the certain areas of my life where I'm still struggling with this. I've got preferences, or I'm trying to drop them. It's hard. So I have to go back to this one, level 1 of switching the negative to the positive. We've got this big thing of like, we want life to be a certain way. We have our blueprint of success, of how I feel good, where I want to live, what I want to do. We've got this whole thing. And if life goes that way, it's good. But if it doesn't, we're in a bad place, or we get negative emotions. But we've got it piece by piece. Try to let go. Try to let go of those preferences. Try to accept life for what it is. Try to enjoy the moment that's in front of us. All right? We can stress, we can focus on anything we want, but at the end of the day, life's just happening. Life has no agenda. All right? And I think as soon as we start treating it personally, that we need life to go a certain way, we create all these problems. So right now, think of the area that you thought at the start, that emotional situation that's happening, and which one of these 2 tools is going to be most useful for you. Let me know in the comments below. Right, number 1, switching negative to positive. All right, number 2, letting go of preferences. All right, because like I said, ideally, if you're really evolved and you want to do a lot of work, number 2, that's the deepest work. All true work ends here. All right, on letting go of preferences. Because once you do, life doesn't agree with my preferences. If you didn't have preferences, guess what? There's nothing to disagree with. There's no emotional baggage. Life just happened. Life just unfolded, and you lived it. You experienced it, and guess what? There's no judgments. There's no need to bring anything in. All right, so. Have a think about it. Let me know in the comments below. I'm really intrigued to know which one of these levels you guys want to work at. And yeah, it'll be really interesting to hear that. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. I appreciate you staying right to the very end. Make sure you hit the like button if you got some value from this, because I've got lots of topics in line with this one in mind, and I want to know if you guys actually want to see them, or if I want to keep them to myself. So let me know in the comments and give me a like. Alright, thanks guys. Plenty more coming from me very soon.